Last time I talked about believing in God without examining what it was I believed. And looking back, that belief showed up in some pretty strange ways. For years while I was still drinking, I used to had this little prayer I'd say sometimes before I would go out in the evenings. Wasn't long, wasn't particularly religious. I'd just say, "Well, God, here I am, and here I go." There was no telling where I might wind up that night, what kind of trouble I might get into, or if I'd even make it home at all. I suppose that's the way some people pray sometimes when they're scared or when they're in over their head. In war, they'd call that foxhole religion. I wasn't in a foxhole, but I was walking into a different kind of danger. And the strange thing is, I wasn't even asking God to help me stop drinking. I wasn't asking God to change my life. I was asking Him to watch over me while I went out and did what I was already bound to do anyway. And looking back, that was a contradiction. Sometimes I think we believe just enough to call on God after we've already gotten ourselves in trouble, but never enough to ask Him to help us when we're making the decision that God is there. Well, years later, I realized that little prayer was telling me something all along. It wasn't telling me anything about God. It was telling me something about me. I believed just enough to call on Him for help, but I never cared enough to really get to know Him. That would come years later. So what do you think? Have you ever looked back and realized you made a decision that showed what you really believed before you actually realized that's what you believed? Tell me in the comments because, as always, I wonder